Okay, so this is your Embedded Assessment 1 for Unit 2 review. And Mr. Ouimet made this so he thought it would be really funny to put my name in it. But it basically, it just talks about similar things to our regular embedded assessment. Talks about things that maybe make no sense to us, but we can still do the math. So this one says, Mrs. Kirk is the founder of Mathematical Institute and a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for her work to find solutions to Problemas de Mathematica. The Institute issues solution loans, which we don't even know what that is, right? And is the world's original organization. Solution loans are one way to help people move out of extreme mathematical confusion. The loans involve lending answers to students to help them have better grades on their work, assessments, and grade cards. It doesn't sound very honest, and I'm a very honest person, so I don't like it. But Mr. Ouimet thinks he's super funny. Josiah wants to get an A on a test. He will need 50 math bucks to buy the solutions necessary to earn his grade. After that, he will need 700 math bucks per month to keep his grade in the grade book for the year. Copy and complete the table for Josiah's total costs. So if he only has 1 month, so I'm going to multiply by 1, 700 every month. So 700 times 1. But he also needs to add on that initial 50 just to start so that he can buy solutions that are necessary. So I'm just going to fill out the chart based on this. So for every month, I would be multiplying it to the 700, but then he also had that initial 50 that he had to start with. So all the way down my chart, I'm just setting up with an expression, right? There's no variables here yet, but I'm setting it up so that I can get an answer, okay? That makes it so that when I go to write my actual variable or my rule, I have it already written, because part B says use the completed table to write the expression. Well, I already have it in the very last part, so I'm done. But I do need to write what these actually equal in my calculator. So the first one's pretty easy, 700 plus 50, 750. 700 times 2 is 1,450. 2,150. Now 6 times 7 is 4,250. Okay, all the way down I have what that chart, this number could have been all that I put in the total cost, but writing the equation out this way helped me to write the rule. Okay, copy and complete the table below for Josiah's total profit in terms of the months he is in school with the A. Use the fact that Josiah estimates he will make 1,200 math bucks each month for having a good grade. So he thinks he's going to make $1,200 the first month, but that's not his total profit. That's just how much income he's making. He also needs to subtract off the amounts that are happening up here on this first chart from his income amount. Okay, so we need to figure out what his total profit is. So that's his income minus his costs. So here we know his cost was $750 that first month. And then the second month, it's going to subtract off $1,450. The third month, we have figured above, it's going to take minus off $1,250. And the sixth month, we have figured out above that it's going to minus off $4,250. So I need to figure out what those actual numbers are in my calculator. Now for the N, it looks like 1,200 N minus 700 N minus 50. And I got that because I'm subtracting off both the 700 that he has to pay every month minus the original 50 that he has to pay. So this whole section right here is what he has to pay. This is how much he makes. So I need to collect like terms for part D, but I'm first going to go ahead and figure out the numbers that I wrote in my total profit. So I have 1,200 minus 750, that's 450. Then I have 1200 times 2 minus 1450, which gives me 950. 1200 times 3 minus 2150 is 1450. Oops. 1200 times 6 minus 4250. Oops, I did not do that right. 1200 times 6 minus 4250. Yes, 2950. So that's how I got my answers for that column. Now I'm going to combine 1200N minus 700N. That leaves me with 500N and then minus 50. That's going to be his simplified expression to represent his total profits. And the last part says, assume $1 is equivalent to 35 math bucks. How much profit in dollars will Josiah make in 1 year? So if I go ahead and put in a 1 in for 500 and I get 500 minus 50, that's 450 math bucks. But 35 equals $1. So if I divide by 35, let's see what that gives me. 450 divided by 35 is $12.86 that he would make in 1 year. That's not very much money for a whole year's worth. Number 2 says, Elena lives in Sweden. She is applying for a solution loan to start an algebra business. The startup costs for her business include $25 for books, $240 for calculators, plus the cost of word problems. She estimates her total startup cost will be $3,029. If W represents the cost of word problems, write and solve an equation to find the cost of the word problems Elena plans to buy. Okay, so first she has $25 plus $240 for books and calculators, plus the word problems. So we're going to use W to represent word problems. And she thinks all of that added up together is going to cost her $3,029. So there is an expression that represents the cost of the word problems written into our equation here. So now I just need to solve for W. So the first thing to do is collect like terms. 240 plus 25 is 265. And then my equation already has W on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract off the 265 from both sides, which gives me W equals $2,764 for word problems. So it doesn't say per word problems, it's just she's going to buy $2,764 worth of word problems. Okay, so Elena has monthly costs of $305, expects a monthly income of $587. Use the formula P equals N, parentheses R minus C, where P represents profit, R represents monthly revenue or income, and C represents monthly costs, to find the number of months it will take her to make $4,000 in profit. Okay, so if P is profit, we're going to put in, for P, we're going to put in $4,000 because we want to know how long it's going to take. N is our months. We don't know how many months it's going to take. That's our unknown. But we do know that her revenue, or how much she makes, is $587 that she brings in, and her monthly costs are $305. So I've used the numbers that were given and I've just plugged them into the equation here. So now I need to simplify. So 4,000, and then I have 587 minus 305, that's 282, and that's being multiplied to n. Now, I could have used the distributive property and then combine like terms, but I think that's more steps. I like to just do, if I can actually combine like terms in the parentheses first, I'm going to do that and then multiply it to n. So now that all that's left is divide both sides by 282, and that gives me n equals 14.2 months. Well, when you have just a portion of a month, you're not going to see the revenue for the next, so it's about 15 months. I have to round up on that no matter what, because a portion of the month doesn't count, right? It's at the end of the month that I'm going to see that I made $4,000. Okay, so number 3, the organization MATH, Mathematicians Against Teacher Haters, has raised $6,000 that it would like to use to provide $300 solution loans to teachers of a particular community called Fisherville. In case you haven't noticed, Mr. Fisher is one of the other 8th grade teachers, and Mr. Ouimet just thinks he's hysterical. Of the $6,000 they raised, $520 must be used for administrative costs, like the salaries of employees who set up the loans and the paperwork required. Write and solve an equation to determine how many solution loans the organization can provide. So I'm going to start with the $6,000 that I have. I'm going to go ahead and subtract off the $520 that I need for administrative costs. And then I want to have $300 solution loans for who knows how many teachers. So I'm going to multiply $300 by how many teachers I give it to, but I need to know how much I have exactly. So this is my equation here. And when I simplify these like terms here, that gives me $5,480 to divide up evenly in $300 chunks. So I'm going to divide both sides by 300, and that gives me on my calculator 1827 loans. Well, I can't give out 27 hundredths of a loan, and I can't round up to 18 because I wouldn't have enough money. So I actually have to round down and say that I have 18 loans to give out, the solution loans. Okay, so that's your whole review for your embedded assessment. If you have questions about some of the vocabulary on that, like rupees and microloans, I hope the review proves that it doesn't really matter that we understand all of that as much as just how profit and cost and revenue works. So I will see you in class.